Hi, my name is Paul Becker. I'm the inventor and the developer of the EarthPulse Sleep On Command. Because I want you to get the most out of your investment in us, I've produced this short 10-minute video about a new discovery I made in December of 2014. First, the backstory. Shortly before passing the California bar exam in 1996, I was introduced to electromedicine through a lecture at the Whole Life Expo in Las Vegas by a researcher in his 70s named Bob Beck. Perhaps you've already heard of him. So I bought his electric blood pulsar, currently called the Silver Pulsar. You can go to soda.com for more information about it. And I haven't had the flu since, and neither has my mom. But that's another story altogether. During a taped interview of Bob I was listening to on the internet sometime in 1998, I heard him describe an experiment he did in the 1960s. He'd become fascinated by Schumann waves, 7.83 hertz, and why shamans and energy healers' brainwave patterns tended to be tuned around 8 hertz when meditating or in healing mode. He was interested in finding out if the terrestrial planet had a similar resonating frequency. The Earth, as you may or may not be aware, is generally known to have a static field of approximately 1/2 Gauss. And from what I've read, this field has been dropping in amplitude consistently over time for eons. The Japanese, who've known about the health effects of magnets a lot longer than Western civilizations, determined that this loss of field amplitude comes with detrimental health effects and subsequently coined the phrase magnetic field deficiency syndrome. And therein lies one of the beautiful things about EarthPulse. You can now sleep in a field that resembles the higher amplitudes of a time long gone. So, Bob Beck drove 2 metal rods 20 feet into the ground, hooked them up to an amplifier, and then ran them through an oscilloscope. And what he discovered was the Earth did indeed have a resonating frequency, and that frequency was 9.6 hertz. Due to all of my research into the published Eastern European pulsed electromagnetic literature, it was clear to me that results were far better at 10 hertz than at any other frequencies, either higher or lower. Feeling it was no coincidence that Earth had a pulse rate of 9.6 hertz, I began designing EarthPulse version 1 biomagnetic supplementation at 9.6 hertz exactly. In 2002, I filed patent on it and began selling and testing them, achieving spectacular results and receiving rave reviews. It was designed specifically for Parkinson's and other neurological issues, and you can see video documentation of what 9.6 hertz did for Parkinson's clients in 2002 through 2004 on our YouTube channel. There's a Parkinson's playlist there, and if you'll allow me to pat myself on the back, they're pretty remarkable. Other interesting observations about 10 hertz comes to us from NASA's 2003 study, Physiological and Molecular Genetic Effects of Time-Varying Electromagnetic Fields on Human Neuronal Cells. NASA's patent was filed by them in 2004. I beat them by 2 years. Not bad for a long-haired music attorney surfer dude. Before sanitizing that study, NASA also included data on 5 hertz and 15 hertz too. What NASA found was 5 hertz and 15 hertz doubled neuronal tissue regeneration, but 10 hertz quadrupled it. A nice bell-shaped curve around 10 hertz. Curiously, at 17 to 21 days, the 10 hertz stimulated previously mature tissue sample reverted to developmental genetic signature. Some 175 maturity genes turned off and 150 developmental ones turned on. The implications of this on health and longevity are quite frankly staggering. That didn't happen in either of the 5 or 15 hertz tissue samples. See the 10 hertz bibliography on our website earthpulse.net in the sidebar for more 10 hertz citations and a link to my treatise More ATP, The Mitochondrial Theory of Aging in Reverse, explaining this phenomenon. That NASA-based system is now sold under the name SomaPulse at somapulse.com, though the NASA logo has been removed from their site. Evidently, a NASA scientist owns that page. The SomaPulse is a relatively strong system compared to matte PEMF, with 2 coils and battery operated. It produces 130 Gauss peak amplitude at the tip of the millisecond pulse per magnet, and it sells for nearly $1,400. Curiously, it now has 2 frequency settings at 5 Hz and 100 Hz, not even offering the 10 Hz setting any longer. Either there was a patent infringement issue, or, as so often happens in the fields of health and medicine, they're playing hide the ball and don't want you to have the benefit as proven by the NASA research. So be it. You own an EarthPulse, so you needn't be concerned. Our later model V4s were 450 Gauss for $599, and our current V5 systems 650 Gauss constant across the entire square wave in sleep configured mode. Our millisecond peak, however, is 950 Gauss, as measured by the Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore, India. That's in sleep mode, with the cross-polarity ring installed over 1000 Gauss. The V5 Pro, 2 magnets at over 1000 Gauss. Plenty of Gauss for up to a 15 to 16 inch mattress when set at 100% amplitude. Here's the graphic they sent us. Pause the video to study it. Now, 13 years after our V1 system, set at 9.6 Hz and approaching 10,000 clients later, an interesting new discovery about 9.6 Hz that may hold the key to why it works so well and why I sent you this presentation in the first place. 2 separate articles about the healing effects of 432 Hz healing tone crossed my desk twice in 1 week. Since I don't believe in coincidence, I immediately began researching 432 Hz. As it turns out, the A musical note had been tuned to 432 Hz back in the days of Brahms and Mozart. However, somewhere along the line, the Illuminati, or Hitler, depending on what you read, detuned music's A note to 440 Hz to remove the healing and soothing effect of the music. As you probably know, I don't like high-frequency stimulation, and I really don't like the Luciferian Illuminati. But because the EarthPulse produces a square waveform, it produces harmonics at multiples of the base frequency. So for instance, 10 Hz has harmonics at 20 Hz, 30 Hz, 40 Hz, and so on. Without getting into specifics of the research on 432 Hz, because you can find plenty of articles on Google and YouTube for that, I thought I'd see how the harmonics of 9.6 Hz looked in relation to 432 Hz. Now, without getting into a discussion of the gazillion sine waves making up each square wave, we'll keep it simple and just use the base frequency of 9.6 Hz. So, as it turns out, 432 divided by 9.6, drum roll please, equals dead on 45. And if you're into numerology, 4 plus 5 equals 9. Very curious, I thought. Then diving a bit deeper into these healing tones, I found a number of interesting articles on 528 Hz and its healing effect on DNA. So I thought I'd see how the harmonics of 9.6 related to 528. So I divided 528 by 9.6, and what do you know? Drum roll please. Bang on 55. And if you're into numerology, 5 plus 5 equals 10. Did I mention I don't believe in coincidence? So in early December 2014, after 5 months of having my V5 and never once using the manual mode, I began setting my V5 system for sleep using the new manual mode set at 9.6 Hz. And I'm very pleased to report it's the first time since the analog V1 and V2 that I'm sleeping just 6 hours and waking up long before the alert phase begins to kick in, and not wanting to stay in bed any longer. and I love to sleep. This is the first time since going digital in 2005 that this has happened. While it may take you some time to be able to sleep in recover mode in the first place, it's certainly worth the effort. If you haven't seen this chart from the Tong 10 Hz mitochondrial study, it's probably a good place to stop. Click the pause button to study it. Notice it takes only minutes for mitochondria to triple ATP levels. Though it'll take a week or two until this is occurring when you're not under the influence of 10 Hz, it will happen. Once you're able to sleep in recovery mode, try 9.6 Hz manual mode. And when you use the EP for recovery issues, definitely set it for 9.6 Hz rather than recover mode. This presentation will now show you how simple it is to set the V5 controllers to 9.6 Hz. Okay, first thing you'll do is boot the machine by hitting the on-off button. It'll boot to recover mode. You'll scroll up or down until you see manual mode. Once you see manual mode, use the select start button to choose it. Once you choose it, it'll boot to 8 hours. You'll use your up down arrows to choose your time, then hit select again. Frequency automatically goes to 9.6 Hz. Select one more time and you're in active mode at 70%. Use the up and down arrows to choose your amplitude, and you're all set.